Hi there. Well, I have the little tensegrity structure that we've talked about before, how that connects, shows how everything connects to everything else. The bones are compression structures in our body, and how our bones are floating in a sea of connective tissue, of muscle, tendon, ligament, organs. All this is floating. So my foot is connected to my head. My hand is connected to my foot. And everything is connected to everything else. So I'm going to demonstrate and just explore right now two postures that were shared with us last year by Phillip Beach, who's a visionary osteopath and acupuncturist from New Zealand. And I consider a very important teacher. And he'll be coming back actually in May here to PCA, which we're really, really excited about. So I'm going to show you a couple of postures that he shared with us that have really deepened my understanding of how amazing the body is, but also how simple connected movement can be. So the first one begins like this. Imagine that you're lying down. I'm just going to show it to you first standing so you can see how it relates to the side bend, for instance. Standing in a side bend, how that relates to another movement that we do on the reformer. So imagine I'm lying down. My feet are wide, feet are flexed, arms above my head. So you just let your arms rest like this. Can your shoulders relax? And then from there, you side bend. And a side bend is an extension or an opening of the ribs on the side you're moving away from, and a gentle closing on this side. But I'm not jamming anything. I'm not pushing anything. I'm just opening this side, and this side is gently closing slightly with no pressure. You don't want to go to where there's pressure. And there's more space that's created on this side. So now my hip is releasing down in that direction, my ribs are floating up in this direction, and I've got more space on this side. And now from this side bend, I'm going to reach across and rotate. And that's the movement. And I'll show you the variation on it. So we're going to do that to each side. But also notice that side bending on the short box is the same thing. Because usually people do a side bend and they sort of they do this, they're not quite sure where their arm should be, but it's a grounding of the shoulder and a floating of the ribs as you release your hips down. So you create space and lift through the internal support as you release. So the key here is release. Grounding creates lift, which is what we speak about as down the back, up the front. And I'll show you more clearly as I'm on the floor how that translates and how everything connects to everything else as we're moving. So you're lying down on your back. Your legs are wide, comfortably wide, feet are flexed. As you reach through your heels, this is what Phil helped me to understand, is that as you reach through your heels, the flexion of your foot turns your whole system on. And now I understand why down the back, up the front is so powerful. When you flex your foot, it's like standing up, right? So that's the distinction that we're looking at. So I'm going to side bend to the right. And the rotation, which is now what we're going into, includes a side bend. That's why it's so important to first of all feel the side bend and the opening on this side, creating space. Because now as I reach across, I'm reaching into the space that I've just created. Over. And now I'm beginning to notice that my head followed my arm, my shoulder followed, my hip followed, and now I'm feeling an internal support right here. Let the breath connect waterfall to shoulder blade to the internal lift, and that feels amazing. Now, you may find when you first get into this position, your head is here, your leg is down, and what you'll notice as you play with it, this is what I've noticed over time as it's become more and more rich, and we brought it more into the way we think at the Pilates Center of Austin through the 3 core connections. How does the down the back, how does the waterfall create the internal lift? How does that support my head lifting? I feel more connected to my foot now because I've gotten shoulder blade to deep belly. You see? Now once I've gotten that, I get the softening and widening here, and that begins to free up my hand's ability to move. That allows me to move my head. That's what's amazing. You suddenly feel that when you get internal support, your head can move freely, your hands can move freely, and then release. Side bend, over, create space on that side, and then you move into the space. Feel the waterfall down the back. Meet the internal lift up the front. How does that might, notice how on this side my leg wanted to lift right away. Just felt more connected. It left the floor. And release. Side bend. And rotate. See what's interesting on this side of my body? Notice how this leg didn't lift right away. But now as I get more and more connected, it wants to lift. I'm not lifting my leg right now. My internal support is lifting my leg in relationship to my head. So don't feel you're supposed to do something. Begin to get more and more internally aware of your breath, how the waterfall and the internal lift help your head to lift. This is like a swan lift in a way. And how that begins to talk to your leg lift. And you'll see how that will relate to your side kicks. And then releasing down. So that's how you play with it. And basically, I would recommend that you do each side at least 3 times. The supine one, lying on your back, starting there. Each side 3 times. You'll notice it'll get deeper and deeper for you, and I can already feel really, really more connected, more open. And as we know how important feet and hands are, we'll go more into this, talking about the importance of how we energize our feet and hands. Now I'm going to show you the prone one. This is the one lying on your stomach. So now you're lying down, arms wide, legs closer. Just lying on the ground is important. Just being in this position will recalibrate your whole body. It's just so important to be able to just lie on the ground. Now, because my head is turned to the right, I'm going to reach my right leg across my left, flex both feet. There's the first piece. So now I'm connecting with shoulder blade to deep belly, and when I do that, my head wants to lift. As you get clearer and clearer, like I said, you'll feel how you can move your head freely. And you'll feel how this will turn on more as your head comes up, because you're getting more of the down and the up, which helps your head to lift. And then you come back down, Now stay there for a moment, and this is your head transition, how you turn to the other side. The waterfall down the back. Can your hips relax into the mat to lift your head? And how does that turn your head as you release down? And from here, looking left, you reach through that left leg, across. Feel how the waterfall down the back lifts your head, how you can turn from side to side. Feel the shoulder blade to deep belly, support. Feel how you can move your foot freely. And then turn back down. And then from here, coming back, sit back. And come up. So, wonderful to be with you. I don't know if Kaya the Wonder Dog came into the frame right then, but she's our mascot. I adore her. And just great to see you. Look forward to more. And let's continue to play together. Bye.